Well, in case you missed it, today was Harmony Day, and for one traumatised family it was exactly that. A 9-year-old Iranian orphan is to be taken from Christmas Island detention centre next week and reunited with his extended family in Sydney. The announcement of the Immigration Minister's decision has effectively suspended a heated battle between human rights activists and the federal government. But harmony isn't exactly a word you'd use at the moment to describe either the federal opposition or the Labor movement. Political correspondent Tom Iggulden reports.
A new face defining an old issue. When 9-year-old Sina attended the funeral of the father he lost during the Christmas Island shipwreck, he became the focal point for the redrawing of familiar political battle lines. After the funeral, he was taken back into detention and this morning put back on a plane to Christmas Island, though it was diverted to Port Hedland because of Cyclone Diane.
What goes on Christmas Island is a national scandal, frankly. It's a factory for mental illness.
You can't lock up a kid. You can't take him to prison. It's just a kid. He's only 9 years old.
And after days of bureaucratic processing, Immigration Minister Bowen late today announced that Sina and an aunt will find themselves back on a flight to Sydney next week.
He's going to be kept with the family who've been looking after him on Christmas Island.
I'm so happy, and I didn't expect it to happen this quickly. I really thank the Minister and the Australian Government.
Well, I think the complaint to the Human Rights Commission will continue because clearly this child's rights under the Convention have been breached, and he is entitled to follow that complaint through.
But Sina's case has reopened debate, first begun when the Tampa arrived off Western Australia in the midst of the 2001 election.
We will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
Was Scott Morrison trying to appeal to a similar set of voters when he questioned whether the federal government should pay for Sina and 21 other relatives of those who died in the shipwreck to attend their families' funerals in Sydney?
It's just a question of what is a reasonable request in these circumstances. I think the government has gone a bit too far with this.
Mr Morrison since backed away from what he admits were insensitive remarks, but that hasn't stopped asylum seeker supporters from targeting him, even as he attended Harmony Day celebrations.
It's straight out of the textbook of One Nation, the Australian Protectionist Party.
I'm here to celebrate harmony.
Yeah, and what sort of harmony are you sowing in the community? You sow racist bullshit. You sow racist lies. You reinforce racist lies every day of the week.
And just as in 2001, the race issue has brought One Nation back into the political debate. It's claiming the Liberal Party stole its idea to cut funding to a foreign aid program that rebuilds schools in Indonesia.
I'm absolutely convinced that it came from us. Absolutely.
Well, I think the concern is when One Nation expresses a view and the Liberal Party expresses the same view, I think that's a natural conclusion for people to reach, and I think the Liberal Party needs to deal with that and deal with it very quickly.
And newspaper reports of Mr Morrison suggesting to Shadow Cabinet that the Australian community would be receptive to an anti-Muslim message from the opposition.
Well, as all journalists know, I don't comment on Shadow Cabinet here or anywhere else. All I can say is the gossip reported today does not reflect my views.
I think that is a travesty of Scott's position, an absolute travesty of Scott's position. And I just want to stress that as far as the coalition is concerned, we have always had and we will always have a non-discriminatory immigration policy.
Mr Morrison, from today's reports, appears to want to go down a very grubby path in the migration debate in this country. Is Mr Abbott going to follow him down that path or stop it now and get Mr Morrison to go to the backbench?
While the government makes the most of the opposition's apparent squabbles over immigration, it's got an internal row brewing of its own. Yesterday, Trade Minister Craig Emerson criticised the Australian Workers' Union over inflammatory comments about Australian mining bosses. And today he copped an earful for his trouble.
I'm pretty certain that Craig Emerson has never negotiated a pay increase for anyone in his life other than himself. And all I can say to Craig is every now and then it would do you a world of service to hop off your first-class plane seats and come out to the shop floor.
Mr Emerson declined to comment further on the issue. Tom Iggulden, Late Line.